Hello, hello, hello. It's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to my Sale-a-Bration Spotlight Day 7. It is the last day of celebration because it is the last day of September. It is Thursday, September 30th, and today is the last day to take advantage of all these celebration freebies and choose free gifts when you buy $50 or more. You can do that in my online store at juliedavison.com/shop. Over the last week, I have been featuring all the different celebration gifts that you can choose for free. I almost made it through all of them. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll have a link to the playlist in the video description when we're all done so you can check it out. Oh my goodness, which one is your favorite? I think yesterday's Penguin Playmates designer paper was my favorite. And if you missed yesterday's video, I finally made a pinwheel tower card using that Penguin Playmates designer paper. And I'm actually getting that paper out again to use a little bit on our card today. In fact, the only pattern that I didn't use yesterday was this Just Jade pattern. And I'm going to use it today with the counting sheep and the sheep dies. So I thought this kind of looked like grass, don't you think? I love that these designer papers can be used with all kinds of different stamp sets. So I'm going to use that for grass today. We're using the counting sheep stamp set and the coordinating sheep dies. And I kind of waited on these because late last week, the sheep dies in North America were unavailable. And I didn't know if that meant that they were totally sold out or if they were coming back, but they are back. I think they had an order that came in on Monday. So we still have the sheep dies. They coordinate with the sheep stamp set, and you can get them both for free with a $50 order and a $50 order. So if you want them both, that would be a $100 order. How many of you already have the sheep? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, give me a heart if you already have the counting sheep stamp set and or the coordinating dies, which are just so stinking cute. The dies coordinate, they cut out the sheep, and then there's also some accessory images like the fence and the clouds and the balloon and the hat and the little flag. Before we jump in and get started with what I'm going to show you, I just want to see and make sure that you guys can see everything okay. You should see the entire Sale-a-Bration brochure across my desk. We've had a few problems on Facebook recently, and I've had, like yesterday, I think we had to restart the video. So just let me know that you can see everything okay. I didn't see anybody say that you couldn't, so I just want to make sure. So here's a close-up of the dies. Like I said, we have 3 different dies that cut out the sheep, and then we have these detail dies. And look at that detail on the die cut fence. We're actually going to use one of those today, and I've pre-die cut it for you. You can see that wood grain. It's kind of cool. And then I didn't even get to use the sunshine, but it's got little stitching around there. You could use the sunshine and the clouds. In fact, I really love this sample in the catalog here where they have used the die cut sunshine and the clouds, which they've embossed with a little embossing folder. So many great samples. In fact, let's go ahead and start with some sample cards, some that I made and some from other demonstrators. So you might have seen this one. This was, I think last month I did this card on a Sunday stamping video. This is a bridge card, and I used a little action wobbler for our sheep to jump over the fence, and I've got Just Jade and then the stamped grass and the little guy over here, and then the back side has the little party hat. I'm so glad it's your birthday. This folds flat and fits in a regular card. So if you haven't seen this bridge card, then leave a comment and let me know so that I can make sure to share the link so you can check out this video tutorial. Super, super cool. Here is another one that I made. This was for a swap card, and I kind of kept it pretty simple. It has like a little mini Z fold there. I kind of like how it's a little off center and not like a standard Z fold. Super cute with magenta madness, such a bright color, and the black and white polka dot paper. Here are some other cards from demonstrators that I swapped with. This one is from Jody Reinert. Love the Coastal Cabana with the Granny Apple Green. And then this one is by Char Cooper. I love the stitched with whimsy border around the edges there. There's that die cut sun, a little Wink of Stella to make it shiny. Here's one by Leanne Greff. She used the beautifully penned designer paper and even stamped the sheep on that paper and die cut it. So the sheep has a little polka dot pattern on him. Here's one from Mary McNeely. I love how she included the buffalo check designer paper and then incorporated the gingham ribbon. I think it ties it in really nicely, and I think the black and white is a nice combination with these colors, like a little pop of color, but a big pop of color. This one's by Tracy Jacobs. Really simple here, using some designer paper from the Host paper pattern party in the annual catalog. Die cut balloon with little baker's twine there. This one is by Margot Richardson. I thought this was really clever. She used the cloud dies to create bushes in the grass and then sponged the background there. Here's another bright one. This one's by Teresa Tucker. This is more of that pattern party Host designer paper. And then we've got this cute sun again, and this one comes from the basic border dies, so kind of a really big cloud hanging over there. Last card here, this one is by Linda Bowen, and she used the Tasteful Textile embossing folder for the background here. I love this sheep is like totally dancing and having a party. Oh, these sheep are so cute. Although I have heard mixed reviews. So what do you guys think of the sheep? Are they creepy or cute? Counting sheep. So this stamp set is a stamp set with 10, nope, I'm sorry, 7 images. I was looking at the page number. 7 images in this one. I'm seeing some hearts. So hopefully that means cute. We are going to stamp all three of the sheep today to make this card. So the card that I'm making was inspired by this card. This is from Carol Hafner, and she shared it for the Great Big Card Swap. So this morning, Shar and I were working on getting those mailed out, and I wanted to share this before I mailed this one off to somebody. So this is called a center step card, a horizontal center step card. And so I went back to the archives and I found a tutorial that I had created, oh my gosh, probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I forgot to look at the date on it. It was a while ago. And so I had a template already. So I'm going to share this template with you. I'll have a link in the video description when we're all done, so you can make this card. And this is the cutting measurements is the same. Like I looked at Carol's card and it's the same. Same template. So I'm going to use the cutting measurements that I've prepared here, this template, and I'll share that with you afterwards so you can make this card at home. I'm going to walk you through all of it because I know when you look at this, it looks overwhelming, right? Like that's a lot of dotted lines in different places, but I'm going to really help you break it down and simplify it so that you feel confident to do this at home. So I'm going to walk you through every step. We're using a half sheet of cardstock. This is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And we're going to start with the cutting. In this card, there are cutting and there are scoring. The cutting lines are the dark black ones and the scoring lines are the dotted red ones. So there's just 2 lines to be cut. And we're going to like turn this around like this. And I know like it's upside down, but it's easier to cut it this way. And so we're going to line up the cardstock. I always like to use the ruler here on the right side. So I'm going 1 inch in, and I know it's upside down, but we're going to cut from 1 inch to 5 1/4. Okay, so lining up at the 1 inch here, then I'm switching to the ruler on the side. We've used this one before, and your cutting blade has a line, and where that line is where the cutting blade is cutting. So we're going to line up that line with 1 inch, and we're going to cut all the way down to 5 1/4 inch. So let's push down, cut down to 5 1/4. I'm seeing this line up with that, so I know we're done. Okay, then we're going to move this over so that we're 1 inch from the other side. So this cardstock is 5.5 inches, and so I'm going to move it over to I'm going to move it over to 1 inch. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, 1 inch from this side, 1 inch from this side. That's what we're doing. And then the same thing, we're going to cut from 1 inch down to, oops, I went too far. Oh man. All right, hold on. Let's get a new one. I was just thinking, I'm doing so good not messing up. And then I messed up. Okay, but I don't want you to feel intimidated because this card really is not difficult. All right, so we're going to redo the first part that we did. We're lining up at 1 inch, we're lining this up at 1 inch, and we're going to stop. And you know what? Here's a little tip, okay? Let's put a little Post-it note right at the 5 1/4 mark, right there. Okay, so the top of my Post-it note is the 5 1/4, and that will be my visual reminder not to go too far. Okay, let's now move it over to 1 inch, and we're gonna do this again at 1 inch. And let's put our Post-it back on there, 5 1/4, just at the top of the Post-it. There we go. Okay, that was the hard part, the cutting. Okay, I'm going to flip this back over and flip it over like this so you can see. So the next part we're going to do is scoring lines. Okay, there is one score line in the center, and that is between the cuts. And this is at 4 1/4, which is an easy one because that is where you normally score your cardstock in half. So I'm going to put this in here, and it doesn't matter which way you put it in because 4 1/4 is the center. So either direction that you put it in, you're still going to be scoring the center. I'm using the scoring blade now. That's the light gray one, and I'm going to score from one cut line to the other. Okay, so that was at 4 1/4. That was this line here. All right, that was the only score line that's going to go in the center. The other 6 score lines are going to go from the cut line to the outer edge. So those are the ones that we're going to do next. The first one is at 1 inch. Line up the cardstock. And I'm scoring from that cut line out. From that cut line out. And then also 2 inches. And 5 1/4 is the last one. From that cut line out. So now I have the cutting and the scoring. See? That wasn't so bad. Give me a thumbs up or a heart if you think you can do this at home. I think you guys can all handle it. Okay, I'm using some of the measurements here as well. Like I said, this is an old project. This is more mustard. That's how old this project is. So let me review some of the measurements that I took from there. So for the center, on here it was very vanilla and soft suede, and I'm using basic white and balmy blue, because I was going for kind of a sky. And then the side designer paper pieces are 3/4 inch by 3 inches. And I will share these measurements in the video description when we're all done. I'll have them there so you can just copy and paste. And then I added, instead of doing words at the bottom, I'm gonna do another piece of designer paper. I had one that I thought was cut the right way. Hold on. This one is too small and too long. Well, I'm not sure. I'll cut a new one. This piece down here for the bottom is going to be 3/4 inch as well. And it's going to be 5 1/4. Again, I'll have the measurements all in the video description for you. 5 1/4. That's going to go down there. I thought that kind of looked like grass, so that's what I was going for there. And then for the inside, this is going to go on the inside. I'm just showing you how it fits. This is 3 1/4 by 4 inches for the big piece for the middle. Okay, so then I have 2 other pieces. I don't know why. I only need one because the next part is the stamping. So let's get our stamping done and our die cutting, and then we'll assemble our card. So on the inside piece, I'm going to stamp, and then I'm going to stamp 2 sheep to die cut. Bringing in my scrap paper really quick because for the inside piece, which is the longer of the 2, I'm going to, you know what, I'm not going to stamp off the edge. I thought I was going to, but never mind. I didn't need the scrap paper. Okay, so there's one sheep, the guy who's standing up, and then I'm going to do the other 2 on this piece to die cut. Did I just mess that up? Oh my heavens. Yep, sure did. Okay, so this is the inside piece. And this is the one we're going to die cut. And I'm using all 3 of the sheep images. And I'm going to color them all the same. Stamping with the black Stampin' Blends marker. And I'm going to use, well, I'm going to use several colors. So I'm going to use the light smoky slate for sort of the shading. But I was worried that this was too dark. And so I also brought out the color lifter to help sort of lift and soften that color a little bit. So we'll see how that turns out. You can kind of see the color fading a little bit. And then for the faces and the legs and the ears, I'm using the ivory marker. I think this comes in a pack with ivory and bronze, and it's kind of like the skin of the sheep under his fur. You could also use gray there, but I like to have a distinction between the gray on his hooves and his face and the other parts. I'm not sure about the Stampin' Blends. Rather the gray. Okay, one more I brought out a little pink to do. I thought it'd be cute to give this guy a little pink nose. All right, we're getting Lucy out to help us today to do some die cutting. And the sheep dies includes the dies to die cut these sheep. So you want to make sure if you get the sheep stamp set that you also get the coordinating dies so that you can have die cut sheep instead of having to fussy cut them. You could fussy cut them, but that's no fun. They fit perfectly in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, who I affectionately call Lucy. Celebration is a great time to get a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's $60, and so you can earn 1 free Celebration gift when you purchase the mini machine. Okay. Perfect. Those look so cute. I prefer to color before I die cut, but you certainly could do it the other way around. I did this ahead of time. I die cut a flag and a fence. I was going to call it a bridge. It's almost time to put our card together. I'm going to add some words up here. You're amazing. And now I'm going to just start layering things. You guys are so quiet today. Let me know what you're doing today on Thursday. So last night or yesterday I showed the penguin card, and there were 2 celebration things that I had not shown yet. The sheep die and the delicate dahlias were the things I hadn't shown yet. And I asked you guys to vote, and there were lots of votes for both the sheep die and the delicate dahlias. And I only had time to do one. And since I hadn't used the sheep in so long, I thought I would do that one for our celebration spotlight video. But make sure to tune in for Thursday night stamp therapy tonight, because I'm going to try to do a card with the delicate dahlias so we can use that one more time before celebration ends. I'm still so sad that it's time to be done with celebration. We had 2 months. It started August 3rd, but it just feels like it went really fast. Is it just me? I feel like it went super fast. So I'll be sad to put these away. I know many of you don't have to put them away and you'll keep them out and keep using them, but I am ready to move on and show you some other fun things. So I'm just doing some layering on the card, and then I'm going to fold it here in just a second. I love that guy. Now you could just leave it like that, but I thought I'd add the other sheep in the corner. I'm going to actually wait to put that on until I get the card more assembled. And then the little flag is going to go in the sheep's hands. Becky had chemo treatments. Oh my goodness, Becky, I didn't realize that you were going through chemo. I will definitely keep you in my prayers. I hope that everything's going well so far. Are you feeling a lot of side effects? I know there can be a lot of nausea and other, very unpleasantness when you're going through chemo. So I hope that you're having an okay time, and 2 more to go. Sounds like you're getting close to the end. So I'll be helping you to count that down and celebrate the end of chemo. We're going to fold this up now. And so these first little folds go in. And then once you kind of get those in, the rest of it you can kind of help along. And so we've got this center part that pops up. And yeah, like it's like magic. It just kind of comes together. And then this is going to go in the inside, and that piece fits perfectly in there. So let's do a little bit of adhesive to put that down. Did something sneak under there? Oh, that's a little flyaway piece. Oh, that glue. Okay, cute on the inside, and then one more little sheep on the outside. Is that too much? So I made up a sample, and I don't know. This seems like it needs something. Do you think? Tell me what you think. Do you like the second sheep, or should I leave the second sheep off? I really can't decide. I feel like it needs something, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's fine to be clean and simple. The other thing that I thought of was maybe bringing in some of this gingham ribbon. I don't know, this just makes me think of like farm. So I tied a bow with that, and I thought I could do like a little bow. And if I do this sheep, then this is like a nice little triangle, right? Like a little trio of stuff. But let me see what you guys say. Oh, you guys are mixed on this, aren't you? Becky says to leave the second sheep off. Mitzi likes the second sheep in the front. Janet says just one. Jennifer says definitely the second sheep. 36 treatments total, Becky. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad that the side effects have been minimal and tolerable. And if you have already had 34 and there's only 2 left, then you're definitely in the home stretch. That's exciting. Okay, I'm seeing several more. Lori and Marcia say they like the second sheep. What do you think about the bow? I think maybe that balances out that space a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put that bow on there. Let's add that with glue dots. Oh, there it is. I do love it. I love it so much. I think it turned out so cute. Well, that is my Sale-a-Bration spotlight for the counting sheep. If you joined late, make sure you go back and watch the replay because I shared all my other swap cards at the beginning so you could see them. But this is the last day. If you don't have these sheeps yet, this is the last day to get them. Sale-a-Bration ends at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. Thursday, September 30th, 2021. So you can choose one or the other or both with qualifying order during celebration, and it is the last day. So don't miss out on those, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today for my very last celebration spotlight of the year. But come back tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time here on Facebook. I will be doing Thursday night stamp therapy to share even more projects with you. See you tonight.